You pull off the winding dirt road, your headlights slicing through the heavy fog that blankets the sprawling forest surrounding you. The cabin looms ahead, half hidden beneath the gnarled branches of ancient trees, as if it has been waiting for you, perhaps longer than you could know. Though it's not the first time you've come here, each visit tugs at the edges of an unsettling memory you can't quite put your finger on. There's something about this place, something you've brushed aside each time in favor of the solace it promises. As you park the car and step outside, the crisp night air seeps into your lungs, fresh yet laced with a hint of mustiness that pulls at the back of your thoughts. The silence is nearly complete, broken only by the quiet rustle of leaves overhead and the distant call of an owl, echoing through the stillness. You wrap your sweater tighter around your shoulders, a chill clawing at your spine. This quietness, it feels too heavy, too expectant. With a sigh, you make your way to the cabin, pausing briefly to take in its weathered facade. The wood slats are dark and cracked, the windows clouded and dim, like eyes watching you with cautious curiosity. You had envisioned a cozy retreat, a chance to unwind, to awaken the inspiration that the humdrum of everyday life had dulled. But the cabin looks different now, as if it's worn by secrets long kept. Inside, shadows dance along the walls, your flashlight flickering as you illuminate the sparse furnishings. The small living room, choked with dust, is host to a threadbare sofa and a tired coffee table bearing the scars of time. On the mantel, a collection of trinkets resides, an odd assemblage of porcelain figurines and tarnished clocks as if someone had amassed them over generations. It strikes you as peculiar. They seem to stare at you, each little face obscured by the patina of neglect, more mournful than menacing. You set your bag down and choose to explore the cabin a bit. The tiny kitchen lies tucked away, faintly smelling of wood and age, the old stove an almost ghostly reminder of meals long past. You can feel whispers of laughter that once filled this space, mingled with the chatter of footsteps on the shaded floors. A part of you aches to return to those simpler times, to be lulled into nostalgia. But the air feels different, as if the very walls are taut with suppressed memories, and you push the feeling aside. You're here to unwind, to find yourself again. The layout is familiar, yet strange, as if it has shifted subtly since your last visit. Maybe it's the thick layer of dust that has settled in the corners, or the cobwebs that span the corners of each room, like darkened lacework. As you step into the only bedroom, a sudden wave of unease hits like a cold gust. The bed stands unmade, the sheets crumpled as if someone had fled in haste. You shake your head, brushing away the errant thought. It's just an old cabin, remnants of a past life lingering like echoes in the hall. You decide to unpack and settle in, the unease gradually fading as you light a few candles, bathing the room in soft, flickering light. It feels comforting, a ritual of sorts. The sounds of the outside world seem to muffle, the wind sighing through the trees, causing an almost musical rustling. Soon, you find your favorite chair by the window, a spot to cradle a book, and the faint shimmer of the setting sun through the fog invites you to lose yourself in its pages. Hours pass, time melding with the dance of candlelight and the quiet murmur of the woods. As the darkness deepens, you note an unsettling stillness settling over the cabin. Instead of the comforting sounds of night, the chirp of crickets, the rustle of leaves, a heavy silence covers you like a shroud. You decide to pour yourself a glass of wine, the rich taste grounding you in the moment. Yet you can't shake the feeling of being observed, an invisible presence lingering just beyond the reach of the flickering light. It's late, and you feel fatigue tugging at your eyelids. You make your way to bed, pulling the stand, heats over you tightly as if to ward off some invisible chill. Sleep comes slowly, the edges of your dreams fraying as you drift, caught between the realms of consciousness and the whispers of night. You wake suddenly, the cabin utterly silent. The candles have flickered down to mere stubs, and shadows loom large, shifting in the corners of your vision. There's a loud creaking, as if someone were stepping cautiously across the floor, the sound echoing in the stillness. Your heart races, breath catching in your throat. Surely it's just the old structure settling, but doubt gnaws at the edges of your mind, a sharpness that cuts through the haze of sleep. You get out of bed, your feet brushing against the cool wooden floor, and your pulse quickens with every step toward the living room. The air feels thick, laden with an energy you can almost touch. You glance around the room, scanning for signs of life, but there's only the faint glow of the dying embers in the fireplace. It's so quiet now, too quiet, and you strain your ears for any sound at all. A sigh, perhaps? A whisper? Instead, only silence answers you, a smothering pall that curls around you. Scarcely daring to breathe, you retreat back to the bedroom. That creeping sense of wrongness wraps tighter around you, a gnawing feeling that you're not alone, that something waits for you just outside the fringe of your awareness. You pull the covers tightly around you, willing yourself to retreat into oblivion. And just as sleep begins to reclaim you, a rustling noise drags you back, pulling you toward wakefulness with sudden urgency. You sit up, eyes wide. Something is different now. A bright glimmer catches your attention beneath the bed. Curiosity piquing, you swing your legs over the side and kneel to investigate. As your fingers brush against the cool surface, you draw out a small engraved box, intricately detailed, yet worn from neglect. The tarnished metal glints ominously in the pale light. You can't quite recall how this came to be here, nor what secrets it might hold. You tug the latch, and the box creaks open, revealing a collection of faded photographs and brittle papers scattered inside. Your breath catches in your throat. The faces staring back at you are solemn, their gazes heavy with secrets of their own, and they all look unsettlingly familiar. As you sift through the contents, the realization coils in your gut like a coiled serpent. These images depict moments and memories that are somehow entwined with your past, photographs you don't recognize yet feel inexplicably drawn to. They are portraits of life in this very cabin, captured in sepia tones, and yet the people look distant, as if they were all lost to time, or worse, lost to this very place. One photograph, in particular, stands out. A family portrait, faces lined with joy, yet hauntingly unfamiliar. Just below, a date is scrawled, July 24th, 1973. Your finger hovers over the image, a chill racing through you, not for the aging faces, but for the distinct feeling that you've seen them before. You remember now. It was a brief mention in a history book you skimmed, a small mention of a family that had mysteriously vanished in these woods decades ago, leaving only whispers and faint echoes behind. Swiftly, you shove the photographs back into the box and slam the lid shut, your heart pounding defiantly in your chest. The air thickens again, pressing against your skin, and every instinct screams at you to leave, yet your feet are rooted to the floor, as if bound by an unseen force. You try to shake it off, pulling back toward rationality. You convince yourself that the photographs hold no power, that you are merely imagining whispers in the wind. You crawl back into bed, tucking the covers around you as if they could fend off this oppressive presence. But sleep eludes you again, thrumming in the silence like an unsteady heartbeat. Hours pass agonizingly slow, and eventually you force yourself to drift into light slumber. When you awaken, the faint light of dawn filters through the window, illuminating the pie, dust motes hanging listlessly in the air. You'll leave after breakfast, you promise yourself, feel the warmth of sun on your skin, and breathe fresh air, away from these unsettling memories. Gathering your resolve, you swing your legs toward the floor, but a sudden shudder stops you. The cabin groans like a restless giant, echoes vibrating through the walls. You pause, heart thrumming in response. That's not just the old timbers settling, you think. Footsteps rush across the floor, soft yet insistent, slipping through the silence like whispered secrets. You scramble to your feet, heart racing, and your mind races through the possibilities of what lurks just beyond your vision. Something darts past the window, a fleeting shadow. You whirl around, breath quickening. Your instinct urges you to investigate, to untangle the snarl that has bewitched this quiet space, but every fiber of your being also screams at you to run. Unable to quell your curiosity, you creep toward the front door, heart pounding, the sensation of being watched returning in a rush. The entire world outside lights up grey in the dawning light, a disquieting beauty that does not match the dread curling in your stomach. You step outside, bracing for the cool morning air, and the world spills wide before you. The woods whisper with life, and you feel a strange mixture of relief and dread seep into your bones. Yet part of you remains unsettled. What footprints were left on the floor? If something or someone had been here while you slept, why couldn't you see it? Your eyes catch on something toward the edge of the woods, half hidden behind a thicket of trees. The glimmer of something metallic catches your attention, like enticing fingers beckoning. Drawn against your better judgment, you make your way toward it until you stumble upon it, half buried in the underbrush. Your breath stutters into your throat. The image of a small, rusting key lies amid a jumble of roots. You pick it up, brushing away the dirt and leaves, a strange heaviness settling within your chest. What does it belong to? A lock? A door? Or something deeper, older, echoing within the very walls of this cabin? Determined to find its purpose, you return to the cabin, the key clutched tightly in your hand. Your heart beats faster, the inexplicable draw of purpose consuming you as you recall the box and its buried secrets. You search the house again, driven by a compulsion you can't quite name until you find it, the small box waiting, silently demanding your attention. Fear tugs at you as you kneel before it, but the deep pull toward discovery eclipses it. You fit the key into the rusty lock of the box, feeling it catch momentarily before it turns with sudden ease. The hinges creak like an awakened spirit, and you lift the lid again, bracing for what you might find. But the box is empty now. Your heart sinks, confusion bubbling to the surface. You remember everything being in there, the photographs, the echoes of forgotten families. You peer inside, searching for clues, but it's utterly bare, and you can't shake the sensation that this emptiness is somehow more troubling than what you had discovered before. Just then, a whisper graces your ears, so faint it blurs the line between reality and your imagination. "Come find us," it seems to murmur in tones layered with familiarity and longing. You rush away from the box, heart thrumming, the very walls of the cabin pressing down around you. With a mixture of terror and a strange compulsion, you race toward the back of the house. And then you notice it, the old door to the basement, hidden behind years of neglect, the doorknob cold and rusted, but familiar somehow. The urge to uncover whatever lay underneath this shadowy surface urges you forward, despite the mounting dread knotting your stomach. Taking a deep breath, you grip the doorknob, turning it slowly. The door creaks open, the darkness yawning just beyond. The staleness of the air wraps around you, an unwelcome embrace as you step into the basement, cautiously flicking on the light. The bare concrete walls and dust-covered floor stretch out before you, and the dim light flickers, struggling against the shadows. As you approach the far wall, you catch sight of something on the floor. A family of porcelain dolls, chipped and cracked, their glances unsettling as if they had witnessed untold horrors. You take a step closer, unsettled by the odd sense that they are watching, and your heart drops as you see a doll eerily reminiscent of the family in those photographs. Suddenly, the room feels suffocating, the flickering light giving way to ropes of darkness that pulse and writhe, consuming the corners of your vision. The whispering grows louder in your mind, a chorus of voices rising with urgency. "Help us! Don't leave us! Come find us!" In that moment, a tragic realization claws at you. These were not just dolls left behind. They were trapped remnants of lives carefully sculpted and preserved in a nightmare that once flourished here. A sudden sense of wrongness envelops you, tightening like a noose around your throat. You back away, uncertainty swirling like a tempest in your chest. How is it that you are linked to this tragic tale? The basement door slams shut behind you, echoing like the last breath swallowed by the shadows. Panic surges in your veins. You rush to the knob, twisting frantically, but it won't budge. You can feel the breath of fear chill you as the voices crescendo into a hushed symphony, pleading, beckoning, and your own heartbeat flutters in response. And then, quiet descends. The silence wraps around you, thick and heavy, and you halt your struggles, heart pounding in your ears. The air shifts suddenly, stirring with an electric energy, as if the very walls are alive. Wisps of breath rise around you, coiling in and out of shadows, urging you on, whispering secrets of places forgotten. The dolls, they shift ever so slightly, their gazes now locked onto you, understanding mingling in their ancient expressions. As you stand frozen, something starts to materialize in the corner of the basement, a subsonic fluttering that rises to meet you. The outlines of people, faces blurred with longing, dreamlike, flicker into sight, evoking a deep ache of familiarity. You realize with dread that they are the very family from those photographs, their hands reaching for you from the depths of their own sorrow. Distant, yet achingly close, they are calling for you, begging for release. In that moment, you feel it, a connection rooted deep within you, a burgeoning memory you never knew existed, rising to the surface with inexorable force. You've come here to find solace, but instead have unearthed the truth hidden within the depths of this cabin. Torn between the allure of the past and the horror that lies ahead, you hesitate at the edge of the abyss, straddling the fine line between two worlds. And just when the weight of it bears down on you, a sudden gust of wind rushes through the basement, causing a chill to sweep over you, pushing you toward the spectral forms lingering ahead. Their pleas ricochet through your mind, increasing your pulse until your own despair feels palpable, underscoring their cries of desperation. In that hazy space between light and dark, suddenly it clicks. You are part of this story, intertwined with their fate, and in that moment you understand that their longing reflects your own desire for closure. With your heart racing, your hand reaches out into the shadows, and an ancient energy hums around you, drawing you deeper into the truth. But just as your fingertips brush against the first of the figures, everything freezes. Theirs wide eyes pleading, suspended in time. You stand there, breathless, caught in a web of memory and longing, your heart straining against the weight of decision. And as you plunge deeper into that inexplicable bond, you feel the floor tremble beneath your feet, as if the very cabin quakes with your choice, realities unraveling around you. The world shifts with a disorienting blur, and suddenly you are not in the basement anymore, but standing beneath the towering trees outside, their branches heavy with shadows. You glance down, glancing at the key in your palm, now cold and lifeless, a promise fulfilled. Yet as the mist wraps around you, you can't help but wonder if you've truly freed them, or if their echoes will forever linger in the home you've unearthed. You turn and walk away from the cabin, your heart heavy with unease, the weight of the unseen urging you to look back. But you don't. You just keep walking, deeper into the woods as the silence wraps around you, leaving the cabin and its burdens behind, even as you wonder if you've locked the truth forever within its walls. And just as a branch snaps underfoot, echoing like the last remnants of their farewell, the thought races through your mind. Some stories remain unfinished, lingering in the shadows, waiting for their next chapter to unfold.